Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to go over more info about the absolute train wreck that is going on with Helldivers 2, as the CEO has responded to the news of PlayStation account linking being required for PC play for Helldivers 2. Obviously, there have been a ton of negative Steam reviews. Quite possibly the greatest Steam review of all time was posted the other day when this news broke, as somebody stayed in full Helldivers 2 gimmick while leaving a negative review towards Arrowhead and PlayStation. Tremendous, just tremendous. And again, I think it is my favorite review of all time. And oh my goodness, I just refreshed the page on Steam and it has gotten so much worse. Okay, so well, we're doing this on the fly, so you guys can get my live reaction right now, because I had an image pulled up of the review scores for the game, and oh my goodness, it has fallen even harder. So there's a lot to go over, so let's talk what I just saw. Recent reviews. 130,000 recent reviews, mostly negative, 30% positive. All-time reviews have now fallen to 63%. The game was sitting at 85% positive. Oh my goodness, how quickly does perception for something change? It is so quick to erode goodwill. Now, we'll talk all about goodwill and why that element is so important. The CEO did note, ouch, right in the review score. Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry, everyone, for how this all transpired. I hope we will make it up for you and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games. Didn't say anything in that tweet about turning back on this notion of, as far as the PSN account being required. And the image he attached, it was mixed, 65% of 63,000 reviews. It has gargantuanly fallen since then. And as far as the decision making goes, it was noted, first of all, it's Sony's decision, not ours. Secondly, we don't have all the details about region related issues yet. We're chasing Sony to get more info. Leave it up to Sony, one of the prime publishers as far as killing goodwill from their audience. I think nobody does it better than Sony in recent memory. Honestly, there are publishers that do it better. I hate on Sony because I have been a PlayStation guy my entire life. PlayStation is always going to be my favorite console. I always have loved PlayStation games. So obviously, when something you have a fond attachment to, you're going to be more critical towards them. That's just how I'm always going to be. I am much more critical towards what Sony and PlayStation does than what Microsoft and Xbox does, because guess what? I expect trash from Microsoft and Xbox. I don't expect trash from Sony and PlayStation. So when they give you nonsense like this, I am going to get more heated about it, because I have more emotional investment, so to speak, with PlayStation products than I do other console products. Like, I hate Nintendo products a lot of the times, and, you know, I think some of their games are great, but I don't get too emotionally invested into Nintendo products like that, where I get heated on videos. Yeah, I'll push back on some of their things with emulation and whatnot, but with Sony, I tend to crap on them quite a bit for some of their decision-making. Love some of their other decision-making, bring their games to PC, so on and so forth, but some of the stuff they've done recently really has irked me. And the thing is, right now, Arrowhead is going to feel the brunt of it for a studio that has built up so much goodwill with its audience. And I think that has been one of the imperative talking points with Arrowhead over the last 3 months, is that they have done a phenomenal job in developing goodwill with the audience. Even when the game had its kind of train wreck launch where servers were going down, they immediately got on social media. They constantly were talking to the consumer, constantly giving you updates, and that was a level of transparency that we don't see from a ton of publishers, and how respectful they were with the consumer, and how much the CEO himself was updating his social media platforms, directly responding to people, directly taking criticism, directly taking feedback. And once again, I think he's handling this pretty well. He's talking about it bluntly. He's not trying to hide from it. And, you know, it is just unfortunate. And SteamDB has noted Helldivers 2 has now received 84,000 negative reviews in the past day, and that number is only dramatically increasing. Obviously, for those of you guys that are playing Helldivers 2 on PlayStation 5, this is a net neutral for you. You don't really care. Hell, it might improve cross-platform play if the PlayStation Network is implemented, but for the PC audience, this is absolutely not a great thing. And I saw so many people saying, why don't you keep that same energy with EA and Battle.net and all these other games on Steam that make you go through their launchers? Huh? What? Are you guys deaf? People have been complaining about Ubisoft Connect, Rockstar Launcher, Battle.net, so on and so forth for eons. Are you guys living? Anybody that says that, I don't even know what you're doing. People have been complaining about that for eons. And guess what? Helldivers 2 is a game that for the last 3 months, there have been issues here and there, but this wasn't necessary. This isn't a necessary implementation. I don't want to say a bait and switch because yes, if you read the terms of service, it says currently it won't require a PlayStation Network account in that section. Yes, I get it. It says currently. I don't think anybody was expecting this to become a mandatory implementation. Arrowhead, to be fair, wasn't transparent. They weren't bringing up this information all the time, and that is on them. While I will say that PlayStation, how I am interpreting the situation is Arrowhead is kind of being done dirty by PlayStation at this point, and this is more of a PlayStation decision. However, how far in advance did Arrowhead know of this, that this was ultimately going to be something that they would have to implement? There should be full transparency, and there should be something noted on the Steam page. It shouldn't be something that's just hidden in the terms of service where it says currently, and that's like, yeah, that's all that there is. And of course, the PlayStation Network was going to be implemented. Like, nah, it shouldn't be like that. They should have been transparent from the get-go, and I've said that I don't know if they said something in a Discord Q&A, but this should have been something that they were reiterating over and over again, that yeah, you can play the game without a PSN account now, but in the future you are going to require one. That is something that should have been prevalent. That should have been on the Steam page as well. That should have just been well known across the board. And man, as much as it is difficult to develop Goodwill, just like that, one bad decision, whether it's Arrowhead's decision, whether it's PlayStation's decision, it's really irrelevant as far as that's concerned. The reality is the gamer is being done dirty here, especially the people that have spent $40, the people that have been supporting the game with all the war bonds, the monthly war bonds that have been coming out, which people didn't push back on that because, again, they've been respectful to the consumer as far as their time and money. And when you're respectful to the consumer and you behave the way Arrowhead has been behaving over the last 3 months, you've developed so much goodwill, but look at how quickly goodwill goes away. They gotta do something, they gotta respond somehow, unless PlayStation is just gonna be like, hey, we're not pushing back from that. And PlayStation is the big conglomerate. They are the ones that are gonna be like, no, we're getting into this PC game even more. We're gonna get your data, we're gonna get consumer data, and that's just gonna be the reality. And I don't know if this is gonna be something that is consistent going forward with other PlayStation PC releases when it comes to a Ghost of Tsushima coming up, especially with that game having a multiplayer component. Sure, that's not the core of the game as far as Ghost of Tsushima Legends go, but I would have to imagine that Legends is going to require a PlayStation Network account if you do want to play it. Even if you want to just play it on PC with your other boys that are on PC, I could very well see them require a PlayStation Network account, so that is something to certainly be mindful of, and it'll be interesting because they haven't been super transparent as far as that's concerned. It's cool to see stuff like trophies being implemented with Ghost of Tsushima, but as far as this PSN stuff, we haven't gotten full transparency as far as that's concerned, so we'll see how all of that ultimately turns out. But yeah, what an absolute train wreck this has been. One of those games that this year just blew up, and just like that, you fumble a little bit, and you erode so much goodwill so fast. Can they rebuild from this? Can they bounce back? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how this is going to be perceived for the long term if this does get implemented, and then it's just like PlayStation's like, yo, deal with it. Because I think Arrowhead would be of the mindset, hey, people are pushing back on this, let's course correct. I don't know if PlayStation is going to course correct when it comes to something like this. I don't think they are. I think Arrowhead, if this was a decision entirely up to them and they could implement Helldivers 2 without PSN being required, I think they would course correct. I don't know if PlayStation is going to course correct. I really don't believe so, because they're the big company. They're the ones that, it's not going to be a big deal. They perceive it not to be a big deal. But as far as this level of pushback, this level of vitriol, I do think it's something to look at. I always say you got to take social media rhetoric with a level of grain of salt, but you just have to analyze data correctly and not get too emotionally invested into it. However, in this case, when you're literally talking about the narrative of a game completely shifting, like, this is actual legit gaming news that everybody is seeing. Like, when I get on Discord and my casual gamer friends are bringing this up, at that point, I know that, okay, this is information that's getting around to everybody, and it's not just a vocal minority. It has far exceeded a vocal minority at this stage of the game, and some people are just gonna be like, yo, it's not that big of a deal. The fact is, the game has been working for the last, at least it's been mostly working, let's be real, it's been mostly working. In my experience, it's been mostly working for the last 3 months, but, yeah, if it was up to me, I would say they got a course correct. It's just, I would have that level of expectation from Arrowhead. I don't have that level of expectation from PlayStation when they can kind of get away with anything, in my opinion. But we'll see what goes down. I'm sure, like, I'd be devastated if I was Arrowhead, and it seems like Arrowhead really do have good head on their shoulders, no pun intended, but, this is one that's coming from a higher up, so yeah, it is what it is. And given all of the goodwill that they have developed over the last few months, for it to all seemingly be evaporated in the snap of a finger by a decision that was mostly out of your hands, that's gotta be pretty demoralizing. Like, think of it what you want. I'm talking about it from their lens. This has to be absolutely demoralizing for them that they've put all this work creating a game, and the emotional, like, think about the emotional roller coaster you gotta go on. In terms of, it seems like a lot of people are loving your game, they're enjoying your game, and then all of a sudden, the low of this being implemented, and now suddenly, you're viewed in a totally different light. But, gaming goes in waves, you can change perception very quickly, you just have to course correct, and I don't trust PlayStation to course correct in this situation, but we'll see how things turn out. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching. Certainly interested to hear your guys' input in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.